It's the original soundtrack for the Jim and Terry Show. That's the song written by myself, but supported by Ray Brooks on the guitar, and he did some of the background keyboards.
And my drinking.
And your drinking supported
Coffee,
that song.
The song's called.
That's right. We did. Remember the early days? We used to drive over Hell's Half Acre to get to a good coffee and sample the Ma and Pa varieties. We were all about comedians in cars getting coffee, only we weren't funny, and we didn't.
Well, we also weren't recording ourselves in the cars.
No, actually, we did. Our early ones were used our phone, and I had to transfer the audio recordings from the phone. That was our early days. The Jim and Terry Show, we've come so far. I'm looking at my microphone.
I'm just seeing everything freezing up, the music's ending, and we've come a long way, that's for sure.
Well, we have in terms of longevity.
Go fund me. We might raise $5 or $6.
Yeah, well, we really need somebody to do all the mixing for us. And who did you call our staffer?
I keep
our
forgetting
imaginary
Mitzi or Molly or.
Well, Mitzi. Oh, let's start with that. Let's do a stream of consciousness podcast. So I'm going to take your imaginary person who organizes our Jim and Terry Show podcast, organizes our files, to Mitsu, which is Charlie Angus and his resistance, which is what he's saying. Bye bye, Mon Cowboy, which is from I think she was from Montreal. But Mitsu's the artist, and Bye bye, Mon Cowboy was en français. But the cowboy is America.
Yeah.
The cowboy is, well, let's go with Reagan. Reagan loved tariffs.
Well, let's take a look at something. The Ronald Reagan Foundation, which Trump now appointed one of his men to be a part of, were very upset at Canada's abuse of this. Absolutely, perfectly his words, Reagan's words, being recorded and repeated in the United States. Quite frankly, for two reasons. One is just to inform the Americans, because the bloody Democrats aren't doing their job.
Isn't that something?
I know, and the Democrats should take that ad right now. Actually, they should pay Ontario.
Yes.
We'll give you $25 million if we can use it for a day, and broadcast it, because it is what Reagan said.
And it is an ad that the Democrats should have run with.
Yeah, and the thing is, Ford did them a favor by not running it for 5 minutes, because in that 5 minutes, Ronald Reagan super points out the problems of not having free trade, and he didn't, and so that ad is the words of Ronald Reagan. I remember it, actually.
Now, for those who don't know history or have not read anything about the Ronald Reagan years, you've got to remember Brian Mulroney singing When Irish Eyes Are Smiling with Ronald Reagan. Where did free trade come from? I was opposed to it in the beginning until the jobs and the expansion of GDP started showing that this is good. Zero nets, take away all the tariffs. It should be free. Well, so I got to give him credit for that, and Mulroney for starting it. I don't agree with all the things in NAFTA or NAFTA 2.0 because we are selling away water rights in that. I don't know how that got wrapped up in a free trade agreement.
I have no idea how it.
But with AI that consumes a lot of electricity and water for cooling, apparently, that's starting to look a little suspect to me.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, let's get back to the Ronald Reagan, who's doing the free trade.
Well, he had
speech.
to put Reagan at the time had to put tariffs on Japan because Japan was flooding the market, and that's what usually tariffs are for.
Yes.
Whoa, slow that product from coming in because it just will destroy your own industry.
It discourages consumers from buying that product because the price is not as competitive as a domestic product.
Yeah. So
he did.
So Ronald Reagan had to put tariffs on Japan because Japan was flooding the market. But Reagan regretted having to do that, and it was only for it to be temporary till they could figure something out. And that's why he went and said, listen, I may be tariffing Japan, but I don't like tariffs. It's not good for it. Just causes retaliation, loss of jobs, everything you're seeing in the United States right now. He spelled it out. Ontario wasn't doing propaganda as much as trying to let the American people know, actually saving the American people. If you could just wake up and stop this guy from doing what he's doing,
Well,
because it's going to destroy your country.
There is some hope. I think it's going to the Supreme Court, this ruling on tariffs. Does he have the right to unilaterally set tariffs?
No, he doesn't, actually. I don't know why you have to go to court for it. He doesn't.
Because
Same as he didn't have the right to tear down the east wing of the White House.
But he did it anyway.
But he did it anyways.
But, he's following that principle that we've always argued. It's easier to ask forgiveness than it is permission. Yeah. So he's following that.
He's kidding about not running for a third term. Do not be fooled for a minute.
No.
He isn't going to run for a third term because there's not going to be a third term.
No.
He's just going to be there.
Oh, that's a scary thought.
And I don't think for a minute Vance is going to take over when Trump dies.
No.
There will be an appointed leader. Seagull!
Yeah, hail Hitler. Here we go. Brace yourself, because all of this has been written about, and I've got a book sitting here by Madeleine Albright, who was former Secretary of State, and I think she was under Clinton. She might have been earlier than that as well, maybe even under a Nixon or Bush administration.
Wow, okay.
However, the story is the same theme that we've been saying. Authoritarianism is bad. America was the best democracy, or the best example of a democratic country that we've had in our lifetime, maybe even the last 200 years, but it is not.
And under that democracy flourished and became the most powerful nation in the world.
Yes, because the U.S. became the international police force after helping defeat.
Yeah.
All nations contributed, and the United Nations was formed on the basis of victory over Nazi Germany in World War II. The United Nations began, and Canada had a big part in the United Nations. And the blue helmets with the white letters UN stood for what Canada was contributing after the war to peacekeeping and
lost
maintaining.
people in that.
Yes, peacekeeping has always been a challenge, but Canada has decided, or had decided, under Pearson's administration especially, and he got the peacekeeping award for negotiating the settlement of the Suez Canal, where everybody, the French, the British, the Egyptians, were all going at it over the Suez Canal and who can do it. And he negotiated a settlement over the Suez Canal. So
then Trump comes along and licks his thumb and his index finger and snuffs out that little light on the hill.
The little light of democracy. Yeah. Well, you and I have both said the Statue of Liberty can find a welcome place somewhere.
I think we should
Canada.
I think Ford should do that. I think Ford should offer to buy it. Can we buy your Statue of Liberty, and we want to put it in the harbor of Toronto?
Yeah, let's put an AI ad out.
Yeah.
With the Statue of Liberty. Do you remember from Ghostbusters when the Statue of Liberty starts to move?
Yeah.
We'll have it shuffle on up across the border.
Well,
that would be a wonderful ad.
Bring us your week.
You're homeless, you're sick, you're hungry. And Canada has a better country that represents those values, which are emblazoned on a plaque at the bottom of this... I was going to say CN Tower. Statue of Liberty.
Ford, make them a deal. Move it into the Lake Ontario harbor of Toronto.
Wouldn't that be
or
interesting?
Where
you could see it from Buffalo.
Where you can see it from Buffalo. Bring it in. Bring us your week. Because the sad thing is America's lost some major good workers. Listen, there are some real bad people that came in who are Hispanic. Man, there's some real bad white people. There's some real bad Irish people. There's real bad Jewish people, believe it or not. Most of them are all good, and all those ethnic groups. Most are good.
Do you remember Gangs of New York? That's talking about the 1800s in New York City. Gangs, they were Irish. Yes, they were settlers. They were immigrants. Yeah. Yes, so there are bad people.
Yeah, there's bad people among us all.
Here's the statistic that gets me. 72% of the ICE detainees have no criminal records.
Yeah, they're just grabbing people off the street, and that's just ethnic cleansing. Where did we hear that before? Ethnic cleansing. America's in the process of ethnic cleansing. You want to live with that, our brothers to the south? You want that to be the history of the United States? That you want to wipe out a people? And that's what they want to do. Yeah. Wipe them off the face of the most promising country in the world.
Because immigrants...
Until Trump got a hold of it.
Immigrants are bad. They do evil things. So says Trump and his administration. ICE, are they going to round up kids in Halloween costumes?
Well, they might at the, I think ICE is going to be at the
Super Bowl.
Trying to hunt down people.
But will they take them out on Halloween? Grab those kids with the trick-or-treats. Stay tuned. We'll podcast if we find out more information about that. Jim and Terry Show signing off. Bye-bye.